Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel today. I'm Kevin, and today we're back to our first World War topic. So today we are going to talk about a specific event from the British soldiers that would be called one of the most horrible tactics, or you could say one of the most horrible events that was caused with the infantry of the British. So let's come straight into what happened at July or November 1917. So while the British wait for the US troops to come to their aid, the generals came up with a plan to break the U-boat stronghold by capturing German spots along the Belgian coast. It is a good plan, but it resulted in a disastrous battle that was one of the most heartbreaking things of the war. So that is overall for the topic. And now we are going to talk deeper into how this event went on at this time. So the British commander, which is Douglas Hayes, believed that the German army was exhausted after the Battle of the Somme. So he calculated that a quick strike through Flanders would break the line and opening the way for his cavalry troops to occupy the U-boat ports of Ostend and Zeebrugge. So he has faith in his plan and wasn't being, he's stubborn to do that plan. But that plan wasn't shared by the British Prime Minister. The Prime Minister didn't have faith in the plan that Hayes put out. The name of this Prime Minister is David Lloyd George. He argued that it would be wiser to wait for the US Army to arrive for supplies and support so that the tactic could be better and the percent that they get the victory is higher. But Hay insists that it was vital to keep up the pressures on the Western Front, and that is what made the Prime Minister agree. So on July 31, Allied troops launched the infamous Third Battle of Ypres, which has become known as the Passchendaele. The Passchendaele ridges near Ypres was a stretch of high ground held by the Germans, surrounded by low and open plains. It was well defended by fresh battalions with miles behind the line, mines, wire, and also hundreds of bomb-proof machine gun nests with artillery posts overlooking the no man's land. They even have stores of mustard gas, which is the gas that make you cry because it's hurt your eyes and you cannot breathe properly in the air because it's so spicy. And they even have those things to prepare if sometimes the defense will strike through so that they could gain back their place. But still, Hay decided to sail the region for 10 solid days before sending his men into the territory of the enemy. But the area around is Mars, already turned up by years of sailing, and now Hayes decided to get another attack, and that turned the Mars into a muddy slime. And then one more bad thing that it starts to rain. Of course, the rain is not something that was unexpected in Hayes' plan. The weather expert has already warned him about the high rainfall in Flanders. The only unexpected thing that this rain was the worst because it lasts for 30 years. I mean, it lasts for over a month and it's the worst for the over 30 years at that time. The sail craters that Hayes made in the no man's land after that was filled with water and was too crypt. It's the only thing that make the muddy slime being even more dangerous. And the only way to get across that mud place is to go on the wooden sled, or you could say the duck boat. This is the wooden sled tied together to make small bridges that can be moved away to get to the new place. And the infantry or the soldiers will walk on that bridges to get to the other place that has the lane that they are able to stand on. And as the men advance, the gunner, which is the artillery team that has prepared in the plane, will going to shoot just a little bit in front of the teams to cover and for support so that they could clear away the enemy. So because this is a mud place and sometimes soldiers have mistake too, they are just human. And that's why when the tactics of the war still going on and the soldiers moving over the mud place by by the dog boards, sometimes exhausted or one soldiers will fall down being buried in the mud without even making a noise. And as the expert calculated, there is over more than 10,000 men that is still lie buried in that place today. But still, he pressed on with the battle, ordering his soldiers to attack under the protection of what I call the artillery team. The new artillery tactics was made by Hayes, known as the creeping barrage. And these tactics, as I said, will shot the artillery just a little bit over, far further in front of the soldiers. And after the artillery falls down, the soldiers will keep advance on, and that's how they could create a support from afar for the infantry to taking the enemy's territory. But of course, that is just the theories if everything went with the plan. But on the reality, the real things that on the battlefield it's very hard, or you could say it's almost impossible to control every inch of that theory because the chaos and how that the soldiers of our side meet up hand by hand, face by face, gun by gun, or sword by sword with the enemies. The distance are too close for the explosion. And that's why sometimes so the artillery team make mistake and even kill their own teammates. By October, the Cornish British and also a part of Australian troops that joined into the British military had made some inroads into the enemy lines using the creeping pirate tactics. But of course, the suffering of the men and the thousands of horses team used to pull artillery pieces was appalling, or you could say horrible. With no hope of a breakthrough, still, he stubborn to resist his call to stop the fighting. It was a decision that even confused even his closest supporters. There is a famous remark made by two German generals about this event, or you could say about the Passchendaele revenge. So one of them claimed that the British fought like lions, and that's a true thing, said by the others. But then the others German also replied that but they are lions that led by donkeys because everything is going well, but the plane is just so stupid, and sometimes it's just theories. And one more thing that the British generals, which mean hate, is so stubborn. Even when he sees his soldiers die, he just wants to push on to get his own victory. And one more fact that he always refused to calculate the casualty to make it as a reason to change his his goal, alright, to change his thing. He always refused to take a look about how that his man has died to change his objective. And he triumphed in the end. Of course, with that way, sometimes people still win. But the infantry and the soldiers, which was led by him, paid a terrible price, not just for money, not just for guns, but even for life and even for their trust. And after all, on November 6th, Canadian soldiers finally captured the village of Passchendaele, and Hay agreed to end the battle because he already gained the victory. But the U-boat Pace has escaped that attack event, which means the event of Passchendaele that was led by Hayes. All of them escape it. The Pace escape it. And then they recover, they get back. And just in another 5 months, just 5 months later, they take back every inch of territory that Hayes sacrificed almost all of his soldiers just to get and hold for 5 months. Alright? So that's all I want to talk with you guys today about the most heartbreaking event of the First World War and how that we know about the world lion being led by donkeys. So this is an event that was happened in the history, but as I see the way the plans go and the remark at the end sometimes give us a true lessons about even when you are a workers, even when you are an individuals, remember who are you working for and what is their plan. Are there something or someone you could really trust into? This topic is a little bit special because it's just not talk about an event that was in the result is becoming horrible, but it's also a remark which was made by the two German people live in that time that don't ever be alliance that being led by the donkeys. Alright? So that's all I want to talk with you guys today about this event and about the remark. Thank you for listening and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.